Right, let's go.
Some Netflix Witcher news that shook the world to its very core was...
What do you... Should we discuss this before we watch the video or afterwards? Let's discuss it afterwards so you have time to gather your thoughts.
And some Netflix Witcher news that shook the world to its very core was released. Henry Cavill, the show's leading actor, is leaving the role of Geralt after the already filmed Season 3 and will be replaced moving forward by Liam Hemsworth, who of course is most well known for his cameo in Season 1, Episode 3 of the 2015 Muppet series. However, the replacement for Henry is really just a footnote to this story right now, which I think says a lot about the real reaction most fans are having to all of this. Henry announced his departure over on Instagram and ended his post with a line I think is important. He said, "I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt, and with enthusiasm to see Liam's take on this most..."
With reverence.
Reverence.
Deep respect for someone or something.
Reverence.
I have reverence for Reinhardt mains in Overwatch.
Fascinating and nuanced of men. The key word there is nuance, a core element of Geralt's character and the world of The Witcher, and unfortunately a concept the Netflix show is totally unfamiliar with. While no official reason has been publicly given for his departure, it is known that Henry made this decision because he felt like it was time to move on. And more importantly, anyone that's even been sort of paying attention can piece together why this happened, and honestly, it's sad for more reasons than one. Going into the very first season, before the script had even been written, Henry Cavill campaigned for this role because of his love for the series and this character. When watching interviews and press for the show over the past few years, Henry's genuine enthusiasm for the source material has always been clear as day, and equally obvious have been his frustrations with the writing of the show he's been starring in for the past 3 years. He's always kept it professional, of course, but he can only do so much, and it was not even a year ago where Henry very publicly said that he is committed to doing the planned 7 seasons of the Netflix Witcher on one condition. That condition being that the writers can manage to tell great stories while honoring the source material this show is apparently meant to be based on. Now, when this news dropped on Saturday, the reaction I saw almost everywhere was total shock, with much of that shock coming from devastated fans. If I'm being honest, my reaction was kind of the opposite. I was not particularly surprised. There were rumors of this over a year ago that people kind of ignored because they didn't like it. And after Season 2, I really struggled to see Henry sticking around for the long haul. And when I saw the headline this Saturday, my first...
It's official, The Witcher is returning for Season 4, and Henry Cavill will be handing his swords to Liam Hemsworth. I just don't understand. Why Liam? I don't get it. Does anyone know? Does anyone know why? It just seems so random.
First thought towards Henry's decision was, good for you. There was also the news that many of you have probably already heard. Henry will be stepping back into the role of Superman in a major way in the future, but don't kid yourself, he wouldn't have left a role he campaigned so hard for if this show weren't the fantasy equivalent of Dexter Season 8. It's not hard to put the pieces together of what really happened here when you compare the absolute travesty that was Season 2 with the genuine reverence Henry has for the books. Despite the strawman arguments I see all the time, Netflix Witcher has never ever been a situation where you have an on-screen adaptation of a book series that changes some necessary things when moving from the page to screen.
With Season 2, I don't remember it in great detail, but I remember how I felt, and how I felt was that I enjoyed the show as like a standalone fantasy series, and like in my head, to me, it wasn't like The Witcher, you know? They took a book that was well established and beloved and thought, yo, this is a piece of shit. We can do better. Who would you have cast as a substitute for Cavill? Oh, great question. I don't know. I don't remember actors' names very well. Ben Affleck. No, I don't really like him. Johnny Depp. Travis Fimmel from Ragnar? Yeah, he'd be great. He was in the Warcraft movie. He did not do well. Yeah, but the Warcraft movie was shit. He was fantastic as Ragnar. He was amazing. I can't talk about that show because I will spoil it. So I'm not going to talk about it. Why don't we just look up who would make a good Witcher? Go on, which actor? Give me... Oh! Look at this! Someone's made an article! 15 actors who could play Geralt. You ready? Oh, he would be good as well. Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen. He would be great. He would be really great. That guy was one that... Yeah, he'd be alright. I wouldn't be complaining. He'd be alright. He'd be alright. Oh, do you know what? I think that could work. I think he'd be alright, actually. Not Jamie. I think he'd be good. I think he could do it. Oh my god! Right, who else? Yes. I think so. No? Wait, you're all saying no. Why? Not a chance. He's the worst? Why? Give me one good reason why he couldn't play Geralt. Ooh. I have never seen this person before. But I think they could do it. Right, who's this? Eric Banana. King Arthur? Dunno. I don't know. 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 I don't know you. I don't know. Sorry. Oh, no. No. He was amazing in Vikings, but no. Carl Urban. What have I seen him in recently? That wasn't Lord of the Rings. Oh, The Boys. Oh. His accent is a bit shy in The Boys. Americans think it's great. Oh, what? I'm the bloody butcher. Bruv.
No, this has always been, from day one, but especially with season 2, a situation where you have a great core story with nuanced characters and a room of writers who think they can do better. It was just a couple of weeks ago when a former writer from the Netflix Witcher team said in an interview that some of the writers' room, I would guess most, actively disliked the books and would take to mocking them constantly. That shouldn't come as a surprise considering what season 2 was, but I find it sort of embarrassing when you look at the final product. I always get the impression that a lot of people that aren't familiar with the books think it's an exaggeration when it's said that season 2 was not really even an adaptation, but that is just the truth. Objectively speaking, no opinion here, apart from character and location names, 90+% of the second season had absolutely nothing to do with the book it was marketed as adapting. And the real crime there, and this part is an opinion of course, is that absolutely everything they replaced was done so with something drastically worse. In no way did they make any improvements to what they thought they could do better than. Bringing that concept back around to Henry, I just can't imagine having that real strong desire and sense of responsibility to tell these stories the way they deserve to be told, and then having to show up on set every day watching these beloved characters get butchered. It's just such a shame because with proper writing, Henry as Geralt could have been a casting for the ages, meaning something that could be looked back upon for years and years. It was pretty perfect, especially when you consider the passion involved on his end. And there has always been an element of frustration for me watching Henry give the role his all in service of writing that makes Peppa Pig look deep and profound. I hate to be so blunt because I don't like being negative. There's a reason that for season 2 I made one short review and that was that. No follow-ups because I had no desire to put any more energy into something I did not enjoy. That said, it is so frustrating as a Witcher fan to watch this show chew up and spit out one of the only good things about it. There's no resentment towards Henry here, and there shouldn't be from anyone. Season 2 had already taken the show to a point I felt was beyond saving without some sort of miracle in the writer's room. It completely destroyed several core relationships that are foundational to the rest of the story. And that's why I'm not acting like the show is
like Yennefer and Ciri's relationship. I think the thing with Netflix is that they have so much pressure to... There is so much pressure for them to make something outstanding from the beginning. The way that the books are like set up would have been perfect for the show if you just followed it exactly, right? But the books are like, it's like the beginning is like kind of like the monsters, and then like you slowly introduced to like the backstory of like Yennefer and Ciri and stuff, and it's not like the second season at all. And I think what they should have done with the show in hindsight, but like whatever, like what the fuck do I know? It's like first season we should have been like, you know, Geralt, and then like each episode is like a different monster, and you're like introduced to the world and stuff. And then, like, following the actual story of, like, Ciri and Yennefer and introducing them properly, there's something going on at Netflix where they have to make it full of, like fucking, like, drama and craziness from the very beginning to, like, explode the show. And also, like, you know, they want to make the shows, like, diverse and include things like that might not have necessarily been in the original books either. The fucking 2 diverging timelines in season 1 was horrible. Yeah, yes, it should have been Monster of the Week. Yeah. Timeline must have been confusing AF for any new viewers. Yeah, exactly. Apparently the books have a bunch of inner monologues and you hear from Geralt a lot. Yeah, and in the show, it's just him grunting. You need to make some changes to adapt it to the screen, but too many writers and directors have too much of an ego and want to spin it to something they can call... their own, and they want it to reach... Obviously, they want it to reach a wider audience than just the fans of the books and the games. As a writer for the show, mocking and laughing about the source material is ratio favor. We've heard that from one source. It may be true, but I'm taking that with a pinch of salt. We've seen from Arcane you can reach wider audiences with a good script. Yes, and also the animation in Arcane was... That defeats the point of doing it though. People liked the original, that's why it was popular. Why would you go out of your way to change it from that? Yes, it was good. Yes, it was popular, but not to the whole world. Netflix wants every show to be Stranger Things. And they think they can do better than the original stuff, and they think that they can make it hit everyone. That's not true though. Look at Lord of the Rings. Everyone loves Lord of the Rings, not just the diehard fans, and that's because they did a good job. Huh? Lord of the Rings isn't Witcher though. Also, the Lord of the Rings books were massive. They were able to reach an audience that would never consider reading books, right? They made it accessible to the average person, which is what I'm saying Netflix is trying to do. They want everything to be like Stranger Things level. If you look at the history of their TV shows that they keep dropping, they've clearly got insane amount of pressure from high up to make outstanding shows, and if they don't do like if they don't go viral, they get dropped. My implication is that you need not change the source material like The Witcher did, and Lord of the Rings trilogy didn't. You just make a probably good show. No, Lord of the Rings movies are different from the books, right? The things they changed are fine. I think the writers and Peter Jackson etc. actually loved the books and adapted them well because they liked them. But if what we're hearing is true from The Witcher, all the writers hated it and thought they could do better. If that's true. Yeah, I think you have a point. I think you have a point there, actually. They want to tap into the video game industry as well, but make as much money out of it as possible and not take the time to actually find writers that are passionate about the source material because they just want to make as much money as possible. It's like Netflix are just like throwing shit at the wall right now and just hoping that something sticks and goes viral, and if it doesn't, they scrap it immediately. But yeah, like what he said about season 2, I think most people can agree that like fans of The Witcher and stuff after season 2, they kind of just like, they were just like, okay, yeah, this is, we'll just wait until like something better comes out. Should we finish the video? Okay, let's go.
Only now in trouble because of his departure. The writing is and always has been the problem, and Henry Cavill there as Geralt or not, no actor is going to be able to overcome what the cast of The Witcher have been working with. I have seen absolutely no hate towards Cavill for his choice, which in my opinion is the proper stance. Yes, he's the one that left the show, but his hand was forced. He's a very in-demand actor. Why would he want to commit another half-decade of his career to this? That's not even to mention that I wouldn't at all be surprised if Netflix didn't want to pay what he's worth to the show, because contracts were up for renegotiations for season 4. I will say, you gotta wonder what this decision says about the upcoming season with Henry, which is season 3. Is it just more of the same? Because if so, that's already enough to totally understand the choice, but if it's somehow worse, then I'm honestly gonna be somewhat impressed in a sort of cynical way. This Witcher show should have been the next Game of Thrones, a real cultural fantasy phenomenon, but now us fans, at least the ones that don't particularly like the show, are just stuck waiting for the next attempt. Barring a divine miracle in the writer's room the likes of which have never been seen, then better luck next time, I guess. Well, that is it for today. Thank you, by the way, for 50,000 subscribers. The channel turned a year old this month, and we also hit 50k last week, which is pretty cool. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like as it helps to get my content out there. Thanks for watching, let me know what you make of all of this, and I will see you in the next one.
Damn. I mean, I agree with what he's saying. Like, season 2 was so different.
So over the weekend,
it was going to take a miracle to fix it in season 3. But we'll see. We'll see what season 3 looks like. But like, I don't even really want to watch it. Knowing what comes after, it's like the middle part of Game of Thrones was so fucking good. For me, the first few seasons, they were slow. They were boring. I mean, I know a lot of people don't share that opinion. But the middle part of Game of Thrones was, but knowing how Game of Thrones ends makes me not want to watch the entire thing again. And I get that kind of feeling as well a little bit when I fucking love House of the Dragon. It's so good. I think it's fantastic. I think it's brilliant. But it makes me kind of sad watching it, knowing how Game of Thrones ends. But House of the Dragon is still fantastic.